Welcome to Rush Hour Reads, the podcast designed to bring you quick and engaging book summaries that you can enjoy during your commute. Today we're diving into Atomic Habits by James Clear, a powerful book that shows us how small habits, when consistently practiced, can lead to big changes. If you're looking to improve your personal or professional life, this book is a game changer. So, Atomic Habits was first published in 2018, and it quickly became one of the best-selling self-help books in recent years. James Clear, the author, draws on a wealth of scientific research and his own experiences to explain how habits are formed, how they can be broken, and how, with the right strategies, anyone can make lasting changes in their life. The core idea is simple. Small, consistent changes compound over time to create significant results. The title of the book says it all. Atomic refers to the tiny changes we can make, and habits refers to the routines that shape our daily behavior. It's all about focusing on improving 1% each day, which seems small but over time can lead to transformational change. So, let's dive into 3 key takeaways from Atomic Habits that you can start applying right away. All right, let's get into the first major takeaway, which is something James Clear calls the 1% improvement mindset. Takeaway number 1, the 1% improvement mindset. Now, most of us think that we need to make huge, sweeping changes in order to improve our lives. But what Atomic Habits shows is that focusing on tiny 1% improvements each day can lead to massive results over time. Think about it. Improving just 1% a day doesn't seem like much, but if you get 1% better each day for a year, you end up 37 times better by the end of the year. It's about consistency, not intensity. James Clear shares a great example of the British cycling team. Before 2003, they were pretty terrible. No Olympic golds, no Tour de France wins. But when they brought in a new coach, Sir Dave Brailsford, he implemented a strategy called marginal gains. The idea was to improve every tiny thing by just 1%. The seats, the tires, even how the riders wash their hands to avoid getting sick. Within 5 years, British cyclists dominated the Olympics and won multiple Tour de France titles. It all came down to small, incremental improvements that added up over time. So, when you're thinking about your own habits, the key is to focus on making small improvements consistently. It could be reading just 1 more page of a book each day or adding an extra 5 minutes to your workout. The point is that small changes add up. Takeaway number 2, the importance of habit tracking. Next, let's talk about the importance of habit tracking. One of the best ways to build new habits or break old ones is by tracking them. Why? Because it creates a sense of accountability and gives you immediate feedback on your progress. James Clear explains that when you track your habits, it reinforces the behavior and makes you more likely to stick with it. You can use something as simple as a habit tracker, or even just mark an X on a calendar each day you complete the habit. This technique, known as the Seinfeld strategy, comes from comedian Jerry Seinfeld, who used to mark an X on the calendar each day he wrote new jokes. His goal was simple. Don't break the chain. This tracking doesn't need to be complicated. It could be tracking how many days in a row you walk 10,000 steps or how often you meditate. The key is that you're visually seeing your progress, which keeps you motivated. It gives you a little hit of dopamine each time you check off a habit. Over time, these small wins add up. Takeaway number 3, the role of environment in shaping behavior. Lastly, let's talk about how your environment shapes your habits. One of the most powerful insights from Atomic Habits is that the environment you're in can make or break your habits. It's easier to stick to good habits if your environment supports them and harder if it doesn't. James Clear gives a great example. If you want to eat healthier, one of the simplest things you can do is change your environment. Keep junk food out of your house and make healthy snacks easily accessible. If you want to read more, keep a book by your bed or on the coffee table instead of burying it on a shelf. Clear also talks about something called environment design. Basically, you want to make the good habits easy and the bad habits hard. For example, if you want to stop checking your phone as soon as you wake up, leave it in another room overnight. On the other hand, if you want to start working out more, lay out your workout clothes the night before or put your running shoes by the door. The key is to design your surroundings in a way that encourages good habits and discourages bad ones. So, how can you apply these takeaways during your commute? Let's start with the 1% improvement mindset. One easy way to put this into practice is by turning your commute into a productive habit. Instead of scrolling through social media, try listening to an audiobook or a podcast that helps you learn something new. If you commute by train, you could spend just 10 minutes reading a book each day. That may not seem like much, but those 10 minutes will add up over time. For habit tracking, try setting a simple goal for your commute, like learning one new thing each day, and track it using a habit tracking app or even just a sticky note. Mark each day you achieve your goal, and try not to break the chain. As for environment design, make your commute conducive to habit building. If you want to read, keep your book or e-reader easily accessible in your bag. If you want to listen to something educational, have your podcast queued up and ready to go before you leave the house. To wrap things up, let's quickly recap the key takeaways from Atomic Habits. First, the 1% improvement mindset shows us that small, consistent changes lead to big results over time. Second, habit tracking keeps us accountable and motivated, helping us build lasting habits. And finally, designing our environment to support good habits and discourage bad ones can make a huge difference in our success. Personally, I've found the 1% improvement idea to be a game changer. It takes the pressure off trying to make big changes overnight and instead encourages small, manageable steps that add up. Consistency really is the key. Thanks for tuning in to Rush Hour Reads. I hope you found this summary of Atomic Habits helpful, and I encourage you to start applying these principles to your daily life. Whether it's improving 1% each day, tracking your habits, or making small tweaks to your environment, these strategies can make a big impact. In our next episode, we'll be exploring The Lean Startup by Eric Ries, where we'll learn how entrepreneurs and innovators can create successful businesses by focusing on fast, sustainable growth. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. And if you enjoyed today's episode, I'd love it if you could leave a review or share the podcast with a friend. Until next time, this is Rush Hour Reads, where every commute is an opportunity to learn something new